looks like we got ourselves a live stream. Let's just check and see if we got some audio. Looks like we got audio, man. We got that working. Let us just minimize that. And I'm gonna go over here and test and see what we got. We got a couple cameras working here. So I want to just double check audio, make sure that I got audio. Just a lot of checking and double checking on these things when you get going here, guys. I know you noticed I do that every time, but uh, we got audio. Beautiful, cool. All right, man. Welcome, Tin Academy. Which is really a neglected channel here, and I have not been doing a lot of videos and stuff. I've been so busy, man. It's just unbelievable. But I did want to share something with you today. I got something I want to share, so that's cool. Couple guys, early morning, 8:30 a.m. Bless you guys. Didn't figure anybody would be in here to watch. Maybe you have the ability to just let this thing play and listen as you go or whatever you got going, man. Just wanted to make a video here this morning, and I got something cool that I want to share with the tint community out there, if you will. So I'm getting started here. I got a I'm gonna tilt this here. I'm working on a Subaru WRX. Just picked this up. It's a 17. Picked this up from the dealer. Jaybird's in the house. What's up, brother? How are you? If you working on cars today, you got some work in the shop. What are you up to? Throw some comments up in there. Maybe we can share a little something. But I'm doing this Subaru WRX, and I've been in pursuit of really the dustless, contamination-less install. And so I wanted to share a little something that I've been doing in regards to the gaskets, the door gaskets, especially on the sides. So I'm going to share a little bit about that. This car is really dirty and I don't feel like washing it. So normally I would just use my foam and my rag, but it'll just literally be black. So I'm going to clean this windshield kind of the old-fashioned way with soapy water, my little scrub pad, and just get all this dirt out of the way. But anyways, as I've been, really struggling with, which I'm sure a lot of people are, struggling with what you end up with is you end up getting a lot of little dust. I don't know if this will show up. Yeah, but right along the sides of the gaskets, and I'm going to give more of a close-up when I get a little farther. But I've tried everything. Literally, I used to pull the cars into my shop and I used to power wash the gaskets out just in an experiment that I ran probably for about, I don't know, 6 months. I would pull the car in and I would literally power wash the gaskets out from the inside so that I would wash out and flush out everything that was in there in an attempt to try and get a really dust-free, clean install. And when I started to actually pop panels and bottom load, I kind of put that aside. It worked. It did give me some better results, but it's not as good as the little technique that I'm going to share here today. I'm going to share a little something that I've been doing in the gaskets to get a clean install, and I've been having good results with it. It's really a simple thing that anybody can do. Takes just a few minutes, longer that you might add to your job, and it's well worth it. So Jaybird says, morning, morning, brother. And he's got a Mustang, a 2008 Mustang in the shop. He says he got that generic Chinese side swiper, man. Yeah, I love that thing, man. He's talking about this. I shared it in the last video, and I apologize, man. I haven't made a video in a while. I just been so busy. I really need a helper that would alleviate me from doing some of the mundane, repetitive stuff. But this is the Chinese swiper with the Blue Max, little refillable blade squeegee, which I really love, man. I really love these. I've used everything out there. And like I don't even know what they're called. The other thing that most people are using that's very common, I think it's still the Blue Max, Orange Max, White Max, and it's the bigger thing that fits in the Ungar handle. It kind of fits into this thing. This is a really old one. This thing, the rubber came off of it. This thing is probably, I don't know, 15, 20 years old. It still works good, so no need to replace it. But that other particular Blue Max, the big one, I just found that the edges wear, and then you're left with this big thing you can't do much with. And I just find this to be more affordable, more efficient. But this is a generic handle. That's what he's referring to. And the the actual squeegee blade that comes in it is pretty much junk. You'll notice when you hold up the official sort of Blue Max replacement blade that it's a little lighter in color compared to the one that comes with this particular unit from China. So you got to go on AliExpress or on eBay and order this, but it's really nice. It gives you a good ability to get a good amount of leverage and really do a good job squeegeeing, and I really enjoy it, especially on side windows. It works really nice. So that's what Jay Bird's talking about there. He's got a convertible, '08 convertible. Ooh, that doesn't sound fun. Does that have the ceramic around the back window? Glass window, I'm sure, but does it have the ceramic? That makes it a little bit more forgiving, or are you going to be forced to cut a tight edge and leave a little gap around that puppy? That's the thing with them convertibles is you never if it doesn't have that ceramic, usually convertibles have a really narrow amount of ceramic around the back window, so you really have to have a really precisely cut piece of film that's going to fit in that little area. And if you don't, you'll end up with all that dirt sucking out of that goofy that drop top material. It's like a dirt sponge. It literally holds a bunch of dirt back in that back area, and then when your film bumps into it at all, it wants to vacuum and suck all the water and moisture and dirt from that drop top material. So I'm not jealous of your work today at all, my friend. That's a tough job. It's a real meticulous. Once you get past that back window, though, hopefully it comes out clean first attempt, and you can move to the sides, which are easy. I usually just pop that top open a little bit, get access to those frames and those frameless windows, and boom, boom. He says it's got the material. Yeah, that sucks, dude. And down by you, he's in New Mexico. I believe New Mexico. Yeah, New Mexico. And there's a lot of dust and dirt down there, so that's going to be a tricky one. Throw up in the comments what you normally do, man. I'm going to cut some film here. I think I'm just going to bust out this back window quick, and then I'm going to spend a little time on the door panels and whatnot, just sharing what I'm doing. You can see I got all my film mounted up here now. I don't have boxes of film anywhere in my shop. When the film comes in now, I just unbox, and everything's labeled really nice. Everything's sectioned and organized. My Reno window films over here, my nano ceramic, monocarbon, nano ceramic, different, the Phantom line, S5, S7, S9. Love Reno. Love, that's going to be in 10 years, that'll be one of the top dogs out there, in my opinion. Everyone else is still using a dyed polyester material, and I'm really excited about what Reno's doing. It's an affordable nano ceramic, carbon-based window film, and there's really just nothing else out there like it. So I'm just doing on a cheaper side here. I have some Nexfill film that does kind of turn brown after a couple years. It's a very slight color change that is almost not really noticeable, but you can notice it. And this is just for a car that's on the lot. So um, it's more than likely never going to be a problem. People aren't going to fixate on the film and the slight color change, and it's an affordable film, and I use it on the for sale lot cars, as I've said before in other videos. So I'm just going to get this plotter set up here. I'm going to pop out this back window, and so while that's cutting, I'll let that do its thing. And yeah, so what I was saying there, Jaybird, is why don't you share with us what your intention is around that back window? Are you going to leave a small gap? That's what I usually do. And I usually just tell the customer in advance that I'm going to do that. That way it doesn't seem unprofessional. I'll just let them know up front the reasons why I need to leave a gap there. And because it allows for you to have a clean, finished piece of film on that back window. And so I'll leave just, you know, just like maybe a 1/16 or an eighth of an inch, and I'll just leave a little gap all the way around that back window. That way I can squeegee, I can get the water and moisture away from the edge without having that vacuum phenomena, you know, take place, where the film wants to kind of suck all the dirt from around the sides back under the film. So if you leave that little gap there, that's typically what I do, and then I don't have to worry about that. I can end up with a clean, you know, relatively dust-free sort of install. But you can take like a black silicone and leave a bead of silicone around that. I offer people they can come back if they would like, and I can do that for a fee. I like to have that done after the film is dried on them convertible tops. And a lot of times the gap that I leave is so minimal and so uniform and even looking that people really don't have a problem with it. So it's kind of how I do those old style convertible rear windows that don't have the ceramic around. Most of them nowadays do have the ceramic. In fact, they have a Volkswagen Beetle on the lot over here. It's a relatively new one. I asked if I could do it. I kind of put it on my list, and he didn't want it. He said he had enough interest in the car right now where he didn't need to worry about that one. He said maybe ask next week. So what I do is I go to the one lot that I deal with, the Dodge lot, and I'll just walk the lot, kind of look for cars that I think might, you know, benefit from tinting, and I'll make a list, present it to the manager, and then he'll run through it and see how much gross he has in the vehicles. So if he has a lot of profit margin in the vehicle, he may be more inclined to let me do that car, and he'll spend a little bit of money on that car, you know, making that car look nicer. If he's kind of sitting on a car that's a loser and doesn't have a lot of profit margin, then they won't do it. But anyways, there's a Volkswagen Beetle on the lot. I offered to do it. The back window has that ceramic coating, just like any of these windows, these modern windows. You have that black material around the edge. It's about that much, or who knows, you know, in that neighborhood. Very common on all vehicles now. Thank goodness. That has been nothing but a blessing, man. And you've been around long enough. Jaybird's been around. You remember the days of doing windows with no ceramic edges, and oh my goodness. Man, I don't want to go back to that. It was just unbelievably a nightmare. Dirty, and it's been just a total game changer. The ceramic portion of the windows that we have nowadays. So I'm going to shrink this back window up. I'm going to try to think of some helpful things along the way here to those guys that there's always a guy or two, somebody leaving a message about how I talk too much. I'm going to really talk a lot in this video, as I do in all the videos. I don't see what point there would be in me just, you know, being here and not giving you thoughts. There's enough videos on YouTube where you can watch a guy go through the motions, but you have no idea why he's doing what he's doing, and therefore you really can't recreate what he's doing. And so that's not how I do it. But anyways, so I'm just gonna shrink this back window up. Um, I've talked about in other videos where I kind of adjust how I approach with the heat gun and the different motions that I will utilize in shrinking. On this particular one, I kind of like to do the slow, long sweeps, but I will mix in a little bit around circular pattern with the heat gun when I sort of get to a tighter area that's more isolated, like just one little bubble right here, kind of a longer bubble, or that will force me to deal with that in a different way. So when I have a lot of relief in a long drawn out across the window type fashion, I do more of the sweeping motion and try to get less distortion in the shrinking. And I'll mix it up. There's a few cars like Nissans, Maximas, Ultimas, even Sentras that I like to use more exclusively of just the circular, isolated, more in a tight space. But on this car, I kind of like this pattern better. And you're not getting a real close-up shot. You can see it in some other videos. What I'm going to do is just kind of breeze through this back window, give you a little commentary. And I'm going to move to these side windows and just show this technique that I've been using that's been really good. And I can explain it as I'm going here. But basically what I did was I'm going to be honest with you, I had not really done this until pretty recently. But I started taping off gaskets. I got somebody here, so just give me a second here. Somebody's knocking. All right, sorry about that. I had a car dropped off from a body shop here, local body shop, and I keep the door locked most of the time because I'm in and out going to dealerships and stuff like that, and so I don't like to leave and forget the doors open, so I keep it locked quite a bit unless I know somebody's coming. And of course they parked in front of the door. Frustrating, but no biggie. So anyways, what was I saying here? Talking about the different ways that I shrink. Yeah, like on the Nissans, I definitely use a circular motion on those. For whatever reason, the curvature of the window plays a really huge role in how the film behaves. You'll notice if you've been doing this long enough that there's some windows that for no apparent reason don't want to shrink well. And you might end up like, for one, if you have the wrong film on, say, a Dodge Charger, that thing is not going to shrink well. You really got to have a high-end film on that particular car. If you don't have a film that is really more on the higher end side, that really has good shrinking characteristics, they don't shrink well for whatever reason. And just looking at the window really gives no indication that is going to be the result, but it is the truth as far as my experience shows me. So whatever you might have in mind or have to add to that? I'm really still wondering there, Jaybird, if you're still on. I'm not sure. I didn't look if I have viewers at the moment, and don't really. Well, I like it. I appreciate it if you guys are around, but I'm not doing this for a bunch of viewers at the time with the live stream. Got 3 people watching. Okay, so I'm wondering what you're gonna do on that back window, brother. If you're gonna leave a clear little edge, if you're gonna try to butt up against that material on the window itself, or if you're, what are you gonna do? Is kind of what I'm wondering with that particular window. And so I think I'm gonna switch cameras here and just kind of give this angle for a bit, because I'm gonna put this up, and then maybe I'll do an inside shot for the actual install. So I'm gonna throw this up here. Just throw this up on. I've been making a lot of changes to the shop here. I'm sure many or a few actually know that I purchased this building, got it in my name, so I've been doing quite a bit of upgrading. And basically what I want to do, I'll do a little panning around so you can see kind of what I've done here. But so for instance, I've put FRP board on all the walls. I've got kind of like a little area there where I did some drywall repair that I'm going to be sanding and then painting, and I'm going to paint all at once, so I put that on hold for now. I put FRP up over here. There's some repairs that need to happen up over there. I'm going to put some lighting up there, get this area a little bit more bright, a little brighter. And then I took my sink and I installed basically a reverse osmosis water filtration system to get rid of a lot of the water contaminants, which I feel has done a pretty good job. And I also took and I mounted my sink up off the floor, so I could literally just, I want to have nothing on the floor in this main area, so that I can just spray water everywhere, not worry about getting drywall wet, and then just squeegee and not have a big effort or a big ordeal to get the floor clean. So that's kind of the direction that I'm going. But I got the FRP up everywhere. I got 4 nice 4x6 sheets of glass mounted on the wall, real clean. I actually put, it's hard to see, but I put a gutter system. I actually put a gutter system underneath my glass here, which has really been cool. So all my water goes down there. Instead of it running out on the floor here everywhere and I'm walking in it, all the water from the glass ends up running to the end there and then goes right down right to the drain system there, which is cool. And so I've been doing a bunch of stuff. I got cabinets mounted. I got FRP board and shelving put up in my other cabinet there, and ultimately I'm going to try to make everything white. I'm going to seal this wall off so all my tools and everything above is all hidden away and you can't see it. And ultimately this side of the room will just be one white, empty, clean looking shop area. So that's kind of what I'm doing. I've been spending a lot of time working on that. And so just so you got a little bit of an idea what I'm doing. Really, I'm borrowing from what you see nowadays in the high-end automotive detailing world, especially with ceramic coatings involved, high-end detailing. I started to add ceramic coatings to my repertoire, if you will, because I'm doing paint protection film, and a few things come along with paint protection film. One of them is paint correction. So when people call around and they want to get pricing for paint protection film, they inquire about paint correction. So that became a must that I decided to add to what I was doing here. And then also, what you end up having when you're doing paint protection film is you end up where the parts of the vehicle that you cover in paint protection film are getting a higher level of UV protection. And so I started to notice that in the industry, people were offering as an upsell ceramic coatings. So I began to investigate ceramic coatings, and I became here. I'm in the process of becoming a certified installer for Ceramic Pro, which I think is probably one of the biggest and best names out there in the ceramic coating industry. And they've got, I can show you a little, little something, little glimpse of what they got. But ceramic coatings nowadays, this is basically their packaging, and this is the 9H or 9H product. This is their main bread and butter ceramic coating. So basically, ceramic coating is like modern day chemical wax, is what I often tell people. And it lasts for years, and it really makes the paint perform well, protects the paint, gives it UV protection. And for me, I just like working on cars, and I want to kind of diversify a little bit, and it's fun to do something different. And I like putting on paint protection film. I've been doing that for about 5 years, and so these other things have come along have kind of popped up, and it's like, well, if you want to be competitive in this marketplace I'm going to switch this around for a minute, guys. Hang with me here. If you kind of want to be competitive in this marketplace and offer paint protection film, you better be doing the paint correction, which is, basically, you know, years ago we just called that, buffing and waxing, really. But really what it boils down to is just getting all the swirl marks out of the vehicle. I'm going to try to maybe move this camera over here once and see. I'm going to try to get a good angle for what I'm installing here if I can. Just bear with me, man. I'm playing around with cameras and stuff. I should have a better setup working by now, but I don't know if this can work at all. I don't think it's gonna. I'm kind of, let me just try to fix this here. I think I might be able to get this in a position where I can, nope, let's try in front of this door here. Maybe with this tripod just right here, that may work better. Yeah, that's not bad. All right, we'll do that. So if you want to be competitive, really, in this, paint protection film, you got to offer these other services. So I started to add them, and honestly, I really enjoy it. I got a time lapse video coming out here soon, but I had a gentleman. This guy traveled about, I don't know, like 100 miles to bring this car, but he bought a Jaguar F-Type online, had it delivered to his home, and he didn't even drive the thing. He brought it to me right away. I did full paint correction on the whole vehicle, a 3-step process to bring out all the swirls and scratches, and I've buffed cars before. It can be a nice change of pace. And so I did that. I installed paint protection film on the front bumper of the vehicle, and then I did this ceramic coating on the whole vehicle. And really, it was really nice. Oh, that I didn't mean. I'll just leave it. That's fine. The little light came out, the actual light assembly, while I was tugging on this thing. No biggie. If it does, it just kind of fits back in there. I'm trying to figure out now. Let's see, the shape determines, so it's got like a rounded shape on the top, and it just snaps back into place. No biggie. So anyways, yeah, I did a full ceramic coating on this car. I literally had the car for 2 weeks. I took the bumper, the headlights off. I did a bunch of disassembly and really took my time, and it was nice. The money was good. All said and done, I had about, I don't know, 24, 25 hours into this car, and I made about $35 an hour on that job. And it was really the first big combined job that I did like that. But it was a nice change of pace. So if you're interested in that, I know there's other guys out here that are in the tint game. I mean, literally the way I look at it is, hey, we're putting stickers on cars. Why not put other types of stickers on cars? Do a little vinyl wrapping, taillight, headlight wrapping, tinting, um, paint protection film. It's all really just the same kind of stuff. And you already have the skills to do it, and people are interested in it. And so I started adding some of that stuff. And so you got these customers anyways. If you have some sales items in place, some brochures and maybe even some displays in your shop, you have people that are probably interested in this stuff anyways. Why not upsell them, make more money, and squeeze a little bit more profit out of the car that you've and the customer that you already have in place? It's just like a no-brainer. I mean, it doesn't make sense for you to install tint and have the capabilities and the skills to install paint protection film, but then you send a customer away to another shop that does paint protection film, and oh, look, they do tinting too. So on the next car, you might have lost a customer because you're not offering these services. And so that's kind of the way I look at it. And so maybe you might want to think about that too. So got the what is this thing? The Reach by Tri-Edge. Use that on the bottom of this here. Get down in there. I got an injured knee, man, and my knee is killing me sitting like this. So I'm gonna make short work of this back window here. Just cleaned it, went over it with the pot scrubber. It's a 17, so I'm anticipating that there's not much contamination or extra stuff stuck to the window. Kind of go through an abbreviated cleaning process. I'm gonna get a drink quick. Just bear with me here. I'm assuming Jaybird there is knee deep in that back window. I don't think he's replied yet to my inquiry. So maybe we can get an update from him as far as what he's gonna do around that back window, if he's still on. We got 3 people watching. Super cool. We'll title this video and add a little comments later. 27 Subaru WRX. If you guys haven't checked it out, Tint Academy, learnhowtotintcarwindows.com, or the Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/Tint Academy. If you want to get in touch with me and ask questions or, get a little bit more insight, I mentioned it before, I might get a Google number and just give a number out so people can text me. Sometimes people ask questions on the video here, and really I just don't get adequate notification. It's just not simple enough to come in and to answer and field questions, and it's like I don't look at this channel every day, so I don't see these questions. Somebody wanted me to do a Mazda 6. They were having issues with a Mazda 6. And I'd be interested to know more, like what issues you were having in particular. That'd be a lot more helpful. So if you want to elaborate on that, but if it's really not been utilized yet, and it's probably because I'm not posting in there as I should be, because I'm so busy and I got so much I'm trying to do, and the money and the business comes first, unfortunately. But if you want to get one-on-one with me and kind of ask questions, let's say you're gearing up to do a car and you want some, insight, you want to kind of do a little research before you actually do the car, go and join the Facebook group. Facebook.com/groups/Tint Academy. And I'll put a link in the video here later if I remember. But if you want to get one-on-one with me and share pictures and kind of get like do a little brainstorming before you actually work on that car, so you have an easier time, I can give you a little bit of a little heads up and things to look out for and whatnot. But now I'm gonna do this, and I got the Chinese, and I love this thing. It just works well. They last long. They're efficient. They're cheap, and I just love them. They're awesome. So I'll just kind of, as I always do, I'm just gonna make a pathway. Now I'm gonna get started and get this middle portion squeegeed out, and then I'll just gently with the back of my hand kind of smooth the film out, which is gonna reduce the risk of creasing. And I just want to get everything kind of smoothed out, and then I'll kind of go at these sides, and I'll typically, as I've always talked about, I'll go through the middle here, and then I'll work toward the corners just to kind of evenly distribute the film, make it so I don't end up with creases or film bunched up in an area and bubbles popping up and whatnot. I'm going to leave that bottom section for now. Same thing on this side. I'm going to hit the middle, and then I'm going to work these areas up toward the corners. And I've seen there's some new subscribers. Hopefully the stuff that I do have is offering some value. I did have some positive reviews, you know. I had couple guys come to my aid and, you know, say, hey, never mind these guys that are saying you. Whoops, I actually jacked that up down there, so I'm gonna hit that with a different squeegee. But they came through and gave me some kudos, gave me some props, and just said, hey, I'm glad you talk a lot. You've given me a lot of pointers and a lot of things to think about, and a lot of benefit, which is cool. That's cool. I watch a lot of lectures, a lot of teaching, a lot of Bible stuff. I know most people probably think that's crazy. I'm one of those kind of crazy guys. But I like to learn, and I just like the insight, and I can tell when someone has wisdom and knowledge to share, and it's nice if they're sharing it. And it pours out. It pours out while you're in this zone. Thoughts are coming. I'm gonna share them. So right now, what I'm doing is I'm making the second pass, and I'm sort of cleaning the squeegee every time I touch the glass, so I get a little bit of resistance on the blade, which allows me to dig a little deeper and remove a little bit more moisture. And basically, I don't want to leave. It's hot now in this area, and I don't want to leave sort of a ripply kind of water-filled surface or film, I should say, between the film and the glass itself. I guess I just don't want to leave extra moisture underneath the film is what I'm trying to say. And so I'm really doing more of a systematic sort of approach to this final squeegee pass here, which is gonna really allow me to do a good job of getting this moisture removed. I'm gonna actually add in one more step as well, because I noticed as it's more humid, which is kind of weird. You would think, okay, it's humid. There's more moisture in the air. Why is the film drying faster and sticking faster in certain areas? I don't know why, but it does happen. And so what I've noticed is the film gets stuck down, sort of welded down a little bit faster, and you end up with moisture content underneath the window that's sort of trapped. So you got to kind of work quick. One of the things I've noticed big time is if you're just kind of like a do-it-yourselfer and you're gonna try to tackle your your own window tinting job on your own vehicle, number one, plan on doing some test stuff, and number two, make sure you have a good amount of soap in your bottle. I don't know how to break that down into some scientific measurable terms because what we all kind of do is just feel it out as we fill our bottles in this industry. Very few people are using like syringes or different things to measure their soap, but some people do it that way. I kind of put two good squeezes, like of the soap that I use, and if it's really, really hot, I'll do three full squeezes. And that'll make sure that the film not only has enough ability to slip and be positioned properly, but it'll also keep the film from sticking and drying too soon and giving you a hard time when you're trying to squeegee the film out, which can be a big problem. So I can see down at the bottom. I know you guys can't see it, but I have a couple water bubbles there. In this particular unit, the deck is kind of close and it holds a little bit of moisture there, and you end up with that. And so what I like to do is just take my, I think this is a Bigfoot. I know a lot of guys know exactly what the heck tools they're using. I just don't pay attention anymore. I think it's the Bigfoot. I think that's what it is. Um, and I'm gonna kind of do like a dry squeegee pass. And there's a little tight area right there. I'm gonna end up having to do this a couple of times, and there's quite a bit of moisture down there. And so I'm gonna take a couple passes, and I'm gonna really kind of take my time and go over this. I want to get that moisture out of the way. It's really just water that's kind of left over, and a few passes with the paper towel to kind of sop up what is there. And then I'll take the paper towel off and do more of a squeegee type pass. And you know, there's no rush. I don't need to rush anything. You can even take your towel and you can kind of do like something like that where you open it up and you kind of push it down in there, and that'll sop up some moisture. But you don't want to leave that moisture down there. You want to get it dried up and get it out of the way because it will cause a problem, and it'll make it so that it'll just continue to suck back up into the film. And if it brings dirt with it, you'll be in a tough spot. As a professional, you're going to have to peel that off and redo it. As a do-it-yourselfer, you'll feel good about what you've done, and then you'll go and look at the finished product, and you'll realize there's a whole bunch of contamination there. It'll just be heart-wrenching. So just take these extra steps. Go ahead and spend a little time getting the moisture away from the edge of the film, kind of drying that area gently. I'm using the right angle on the squeegee. When I do go right to left, left to right, I'm not really holding the squeegee at a 90-degree angle. I'm really holding it at a very narrow angle. So let's say this edge right here that you can see in the camera, let's say that's the back glass portion down in there. Instead of squeegeeing along that bottom edge kind of like this, I don't do that. I'll have and it's even still hard to see, but let's see if I can kind of demonstrate. So I won't have at a 90-degree angle like that. Say this is the back bottom edge of the window back here. I'll have more of a thin sort of edge that really is going to be less likely to pinch the film and crease. So hopefully that kind of makes sense. I don't know. It's hard to demonstrate that. It'd be easier if you were here, but you're not here. So, and I'm just really going over this, getting that last little bit of moisture out of there, drying that edge up. I'm feeling pretty good about what I got now. I'm going to dig behind these little high spots here. And then I'm going to go and investigate. That's one of the things. Before I drag all my tools and stuff out of here, I will put this in my pouch where it belongs. Throw away the liner. Then I'm really going to inspect this thing, and I'm going to see what I got, and I'm going to show you what I got. Somehow, in my I'm going to switch this around now. You've seen what I did inside there. But I'm going to switch this around now, and I'm going to share this with you because I think this has got some value. So just bear with me a second here. Hopefully you can see this. Can you see this? You can see that. Let me move so I can get that light out of the way a little bit and get a little better angle. Maybe there. Okay, you see that? I ended up with some bubbles here. Now this somehow, my stretching was incomplete. It's pretty common. It can happen. And I also got down here, I got a little bit of dust. And I got actually a couple little marks there. So I'm not really super duper excited with how this turned out. That I'm not worried about because that I can fix. In fact, I'll just give a real quick blast of heat there. And right there. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to utilize this Bigfoot. And I know I've got the edge on this thing kind of smoothed out and sharpened, so I'm not real worried about scratching or anything. Of course, you guys know that I make mistakes live, and I'll fix them live, so whatever happens, happens. But what I've done here is I've heated this up. I'm going to give it just a little bit more heat, and I'm actually going to squeeze the air out and flatten these down where it kind of is like a little crease mark. I don't know. I think what happened is when I went to go squeegee it, it bunched up and pulled out. And so you can see what's happened here. Those fingers have creeped up. This I've fixed. There's some little marks there. I'm not, this car off the lot, for sale car, I'm not going to chase after that. But this in particular, so I'm going to smooth these out. Alright. I think I got them. You guys can see. I can't. I'm going to come out here and double check. Yeah, so I heated that up. This one here I'm going to get. Can you see that? It's a little tough to see. The light is the problem. So I'm going to switch that and see. Yeah, you can see it right now. You see that right there? There's also, well, this is where it's sucked up from the bottom. So now this incomplete shrinking job has caused an issue. I've got some minor little specks of dust that basically what happened is this film vacuum effect, it brought moisture back up from underneath and it brought dirt with it. It's very small dirt particulate, and I know I can smooth it out and just get rid of it with a little pressure. So it's not like a bad enough for this particular car where I'm going to chase after it, but it's there. And I'm just being honest with you because I know people are going to run into that, and they need to know what's happening. And so I'm just going to share it. And I pressed pretty hard with that unit. And yeah, there's like a little small concentration of a little bit of dirt right here. It's very small particulate, so it's going to, as long as I can heat it and the air around it comes out, it'll never be visible. If you leave that, and you don't smooth it out like this with the proper tool, the proper amount of heat, you'll end up where that will dry and it'll be completely visible. It'll be little speckles under the film. And now I overheated it and I got a little bit of bubbles there. So you really got to be careful when you're doing this stuff. So I'm going to put my finger under this and push up so I can get a little bit more pressure on this blade, and that should be good. That should be good. Yeah, that's good. I think I'll make one more pass here. I see a little bit more that I don't really like. And it's really, I'm having a hard time seeing on the inside where it is. Now I'm not pushing straight down. I'm kind of swiping off to the side with a very, I don't know how to put it, but I don't have this sharp angle like this 90-degree angle. This is a good way for me to, you can see it good. I'm actually really just pinching between the blade and forcing things down. And the angle that I have is less likely to cause any sort of pinching or creasing or anything like that. And yeah, that's good. I got some whatever kind of tree sap or something on the glass too that's on the outside. But all in all, you can see how that worked out. And so I got a phone call now. Here, I'll answer the phone live. Let's see here once. Hold on one second. I'll try to be nice on the phone. 1 second. Film Pro, Joe speaking. 2017 Volkswagen Passat. Sure. Okay. Anywhere between 175 and 350 depending on the film that you would pick. What you'd probably want to do if you want to take a look at the price list, shoot me a text with the year, make, and model, and I'll send you back a price list that has my web site, and you can go on there. There's a video that explains the film and link to the manufacturer's website. You can do some research and kind of figure out what it is that you're looking for, what price level. And yeah, and then if you want to set something up, just shoot me a reply, and we'll go from there. Oh yeah, I wouldn't be able to help you this week. Sure, no problem. Take care. Okay, so I answered the phone. Guy's got a 2017 Passat he wants done, and let me just get myself in order here. And he wants it done today, is what it boils down to. And so usually I have enough work where I kind of shy away from that, because people that want stuff done today are typically not real pleasant to work with. Sometimes not. I did a guy's car the other day. I have 105 5-star Google reviews, and I'm not bragging. I just kind of make friends with people and ask them for reviews, and so I get a good result that way. But the only I have like one negative review, and it was from a guy that I took in 20 minutes. He was in my shop from the time he called to the time he was in my shop. It was 20 minutes, and he was here, and he had a little bit of dust in the window, and he was unhappy. I redid the window for him one time, really took my time. I know it turned out good. If he left here and had maybe a speck or two of dust after that, I would have been surprised. But he left me a 2-star review. I was super cool with the guy. I gave him no headache, no hassle. I redid his window for him and offered to redo the window again. I offered to give him a refund, and he left me a nasty review. And so really, it's like those are the people that typically don't value you and your time, don't have any realistic sort of understanding of other people and their scheduling and their timing, and they're typically problematic people that ask for something right now. Can you do something right now? After 27 years of doing this, I don't like hearing that. I actually like, hey, Oh, that's cool. That sounds good. When might you have time for me? That I like. That's somebody who's appreciative, understanding, respectful, easy to deal with, and a pleasure to do business with typically. So that's a little insight about that. The guy bypassed, that's another indicator. He bypassed my price list. No concern for how much I'm charging, no concern for researching the film and figuring out what he wanted. His only concern was when could you do it? And that is very suspicious to me as far as dealing with somebody who is going to be a pleasure to deal with. All right, let's check my audio there. So we'll see. Typically, what I'm doing, you heard me, I answered and I offered him an opportunity to text me. That's my first sort of filter that I use to see if I'm dealing with tire kickers or not. Because a lot of people are calling around and they're just tire kickers and they're not going to really do anything with you. Maybe they don't have the money, or maybe they are just kind of thinking about tinting right now, and they'll set up appointments. They'll set up appointments and they're never going to show up to the appointment. They'll call around and these other tint shops will sell you, they'll schedule you and sell you, and they don't even know if this person's going to show up or not. And I just don't do that. I want to know I'm dealing with somebody who's really interested, really going to show up, really going to be, a pleasure to work with and that kind of thing. So I just don't do that. So anyways, that's a little bit about how I operate. Some people think, oh, that's just crazy. Well, I don't know. I'm busy every day. I'm doing well. I got work every day, all day for years. The last time I had a day with no work, I can't even remember. It was definitely before I started keeping the Sabbath day on the seventh day Sabbath day. And Jaybird knows what I'm talking about. Since then, I've been blessed with work every single day of my life that I'm open. For the last 4 years. For the last 3.5 years, I've had work every day, all day. And if I don't do a retail job with some unpleasant guy that I don't know if he's going to show up, and I don't know if he's going to complain about the littlest of things, I'll just do a car for the dealership. No biggie. I'm happy to have that work. And that work is no brain damage. No one's going to complain about the slightest little thing, and no one's going to, bust your balls and give you a hard time. And for me, I offer, full money refund if you're not happy. So if I deal with these people and they complain about something I can't fix, say for instance, I tint your windows, and once I put the film on, a scratch that you already had in the window pops out. Now you want me to redo it because you're certain that scratch wasn't there, or you want me to buy you a new piece of glass, and I got to offer to take the film off and give you a full refund. I mean, this stuff happens. So I really play. What I really do is like some sort of psychologist. I try to figure out who do I want to deal with and who don't I want to deal with. And people that want something right now today are typically on the do not deal with list. That to me is, hey, if you do it differently, if you got to get work in your if you got to get work in the shop and you're not as busy, and every customer is, you want to bend over backwards for it, I understand. I understand. Bless you, man. Do what you got to do. I'm in a really nice position where I don't have to really do that much rear end kissing. Still got 3 viewers. Haven't got an update from the old Jaybird there. I'm not sure if we will at this point. He's probably knee deep in the work and just doesn't have time to do a lot of typing. So hope you get good results on that back window, brother. Those things can be really frustrating. Like, I'd rather do this Subaru WRX. So what I'm gonna do here now is I'm gonna get into, and I'm gonna show you guys what I do with these particular gaskets. This is really the point of the video so far, why I'm making this video. So I'm gonna share this with you because I think it's got some value, and I think it's gonna help you with your installs. So just give me a minute here as I get this kind of ready. But the first thing I'm going to do, is get rid of these window stickers and reposition them. And so if this is something you're dealing with, for a lot of years what I did was I took and I would use my razor blade to get these off, and it would leave a lot more adhesive. And if you're working with a dealership that's moving a lot of cars, these stickers, you add a little heat. You want to be careful that you don't point the heat gun down toward the vinyl. But if you add a little heat, these stickers will literally just peel right off, and they're totally repositionable. And so I wish I could train each one of the detailers or the lot kids at the dealership, because I do a lot of repairs where the window sticker was, where the kids actually just took a razor blade and tried to scrape this off, and you don't even need it, because literally, oh, that didn't work out. What I was trying to do was just put this here temporarily, and then I ended up ripping the thing. No biggie. Normally I don't do that. I was just trying to stay in the frame here and do this all at once for you. And this is like certified pre-owned sort of sticker. It's really the same thing. I want to be careful how much I point toward that vinyl on the door panel. And again, that thing fell. Okay, it just does not want to stay on that position there. No big deal. But yeah, be careful with, and you see I ripped it a little bit right there. That stuff's going to happen. What I'm going to do is focus, and I'm going to come around from the other side. So when I do have this off, I can reposition it, and you won't see that little rip there. Okay, so I was able to get that off, and I'm just gonna take these now and put them in the front window. You think you guys have seen me do this stuff before, but I'm just gonna kind of gently, and you see how this thing is ripped now, but when I stick it back on the glass, I'll make it so that you don't see that, and so it's no big deal. I'm going to kind of get it down where I want it positioned, and I'm just going to stick the top in place, and then I get that bottom in place and just kind of work around the edge and get the thing stuck back on the glass. And I got it so that you can't even see that. And I'm going to leave a gap in between these two stickers so there's no blind spot when somebody test drives. And just get this back up. Reposition this little corner where it ripped so you can't tell that it ripped. And this will stay on the car now anyways until the thing is sold, so no big deal. So the next thing that I want to do, and getting to the point of this video here, is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do two things here. I'm gonna roll all the windows down. Typically, I'll do this, and I'm not going to have the key on just yet. I'm going to pop these door panels too real quick. That's another really integral part of at least my system, and definitely leads to cleaner windows overall. And these are so easy, man. We could time this. I think I can probably have this panel off in less than a minute. So if you can have all 4 panels off in less than 5 minutes, I mean, These are really easy. I know you're not real close up, but you can still see. There's a little cover for a screw behind the actual door lever, and there's a little cover down in the handle where you pull the door closed. Literally, there's one Phillips there, one Phillips there. Then I'll just reach, get a hold of the panel, pop off all the clips, bring it up and out. I'll line up the clips on the bottom, and now I have the gasket out of the way. I mean, it's less than a minute, and just about every car is less than a minute. So, I had a brain fart there. Okay, you can still see. All right, so same thing. I mean, it's literally, I'll pop these out. Some older vehicles take a little longer. Some other vehicles, like yesterday I had a Cadillac with some problematic gaskets, and those take, and that took me about 30 minutes to deal with the door panels. But still, those are the felt lined gaskets and whatnot, and overall I had a much cleaner install. This one I had a clip come out on the bottom, and I'm going to have to take that clip and I'm going to have to pop it out of the door and put it back on the panel. So I'm going to shoot a screw into that one just to hold it in place. I'll deal with that later. And that one is going to take an extra, I would say 1 minute. So I'm going to spend an extra 1 minute on that particular door panel. I'm going to move this. I'm still in a process of getting a multi-camera setup. Who knows when that might happen. The intention is there. So you can see, and we're going to do the same thing here. We're just going to pop. That one pops easy. This one you got to kind of push down into it and pry up. They're really very easy. Subaru WRX, 2 screws, and get those 2 screws out of the way. Get a hold of the door panel, pop, slide up, reposition the clips, and you don't even need a screw in there in place or anything to hold the door panel on. I've got the gasket out of the way. I can do a full bottom load and have a really dust-free, easy time, no creasing, or as opposed to those, I know people now are doing, and I've spoken on them quite a few. I showed in the one video my homemade generic bottom loading tool that I made. And actually, I think I'm going, because once in a while you run into a situation where you need, this one did the same thing. A clip came out. So I'm going to shoot the screw back in where you pull the door panel open and closed, and I'm going to shoot the screw back in there to hold the panel on, and I'll deal with that clip that came out of position. I'll deal with that later. And so now we got the panels out of the way. All right. Now, this is what this video is about here. I like to share something that I feel like is of value. And I have been doing this. I thought of it one day. I don't know if people out there are doing it. I might just be, coming to the party late, so to speak, and everybody's doing this. Maybe all the high-end shops are doing this. Just crossed my mind one day in my pursuit to do a dust-free window. I'm going to get a drink here. Hold on. All right. So, my pursuit to get a super clean, super high-end install, I've been focusing on a few things. Getting a really tight edge at the top. If my pattern off the plotter's not really nice, I'll do a filed edge or a shaved edge. And then really trying to focus in the areas here on dust control, even getting just a few sprinkles of dust along the gaskets. It really bothers me. It's like I really want to do a really nice job and not have that problem. And so I started to think like, let me roll down these windows and see how much dirt is actually in these gaskets, even on a new car. So I got my isopropyl alcohol, nothing, doesn't matter, 70%, whatever. I take a paper towel and I'll fold it up into a little, a little rectangular area, and I'll saturate that. And I'll just take and I'll get inside here, I'll push in there, and I'll just wipe up and down. And I want to show you this because this is literally, I mean, this car's been down the road, and so you would expect that some dirt is going to be on there. But even on a brand new car, look at that. Look at how much dirt is in that thing. It's an immense amount of dirt that's in there. Now, this back rear-facing edge, you would expect, and if you haven't thought about this kind of in a scientific way, you would expect this back edge to have more dirt in it. And let's see what we get on a second pass here. Let's see. Okay, and look at that. It's a little bit, but literally it's clean now. I cleaned that gasket out with that. Now this might be old news to some of you out there. I don't know. But I started to think about this and I started to do this, and I'm taking my time right now showing you. Usually I just rifle through it. But as I was saying, this back edge, when you're driving down the road, all the wind and the water is going to come into this gasket and swoop around the edge of the window in there. And you're going to get dirt on the inside of the window side, inside this gasket, if that makes sense. The dirt and the moisture are going to swoop around. They may not come in the car, but you end up with dirt inside the gasket on the inside of the window. And so that's why this is pretty necessary on a car. I've been doing it on all of them. Now, of course, if you got a felt-lined gasket, just tape those off. But I'll show you this one. Much less dirt. A tiny bit, but much, much less. So this is clean. Another thing that is good about this. Another thing that has sort of made me realize how valuable this is it can be beneficial to you to tape these off as well. I'm not gonna on this car. On a customer car I treat these cars different, man. I'm getting paid a wholesale amount on these cars, and I really got to scramble and do a good amount of these cars. Look at all the dirt that came out of that rear-facing edge. Look at that. Even if you get in there and scrub good with your scrubby pad, you're only hitting the inside of the window. So as soon as you spray again, you're going to loosen up stuff that's going to swing around the glass and come under your film. So this technique has proved to really be valuable. I've been getting 100 times more clean. How should I say that? My windows have been coming out 100 times more clean. Is that right? I don't know. I don't think I did too good in English. Good thing I'm tinting windows, eh? But anyways, so this has become a part of my process on a lot of cars now. And then, like I said, now that I've prepped this rubber, normally, if you guys have tried in the past, and you can see this one doesn't have much of any dirt in the front gasket, almost nothing. Okay, so I'm gonna back this up, and what I'm gonna do is just kind of give a wider shot. You guys have seen what I'm doing, and I'm gonna continue on doing that. But what I was saying is this alcohol has now prepared, because if you've ever tried to tape these gaskets off in an effort to get this, cleaner install, you'll notice that, and just a ton of dirt, you'll notice that the tape doesn't want to stick to this rubber. It sticks well to the felt line stuff, but when you have the smooth surface sort of gaskets, the tape does not want to stick to that. But if you do this step and then let it dry and then come back with your tape, the tape will stick fairly good. And so if you're doing that high-end car, right, you've got that customer, you really want to impress, you're willing to take the extra time, and you're going to go through all the precautionary steps to get a clean install. And this is another thing that really works out really well. So I highly recommend it. Simple, takes a couple minutes. I'm really kind of taking my time right now showing you. Normally, like I said, I just whoop right through these. But this rear-facing gasket is typically just filthy. No, every single one I've done, every single one I've showed you, that's how much dirt. Now when I spray that water inside there and scrub around, I'm not going to pull dirt around the glass from the outside portion of the gasket where it can contaminate my work. Alright? Simple. Takes a few extra minutes. Paper towel gets tossed out. And we're on our way. Alright? So we got our pieces cut. I'm not going to shrink on this one. I'm bottom loading. Let's see what we got here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to split these up now so I can just switch back and forth from one scene to the next. This particular, see what we got in this webcam here. Yeah, so you can see what's up. I'm just going to go through the motions now and just do some installing. If you guys want to hang out and watch, hang out and watch. If not, take care. I love you anyways. And I'm going to roll these windows up and get started with my cleaning procedure. And but that was the thing that I wanted to share because somebody's going to find value in it. Somebody's going to go, oh yeah. What had happened was I would just, I would think, man, I'm really cleaning these windows. I'm using the pot scrubber. I'm using, the white scrubby pad. I'm taking my time. I'm really trying to do an excellent job, and I'm still getting these little tidbits of contamination. I'm cracking my back, guys. Oh, I got a kink that keeps coming up. I actually got a full back brace on right now. I got a kink that keeps coming and it's shooting sharp pains in my chest. At first I thought it was my heart, and I started cracking my back and realized that it was coming from my spine. And so I'm just kind of waiting for that to pass. You know how if you have any of that stuff, you know how it works. You end up having weird nerve issues that will last for a little bit and then go away. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slice out a little tiny bit of the gasket on the front facing side for this little quarter window. These particular windows are pretty forgiving. I like to go around and do a little razor scrape in the gasket. I also these particular windows are suffering from the same phenomena as the roll downs. Dirt gets washed around the glass and comes on the inside of the gasket. So let me show you this. I'm going to show you this. I'm starting out with a relatively clean scrubby. I'm going to take my Bigfoot and I'm going to pinch this scrubby pad in the gasket of this window. And sometimes you'll just be mind blown. All right, how much comes out? So look at what happened. Okay, see that? I don't want to go over my computer. I don't want to get my computer wet, but that's how much dirt was in that little gasket right there. And I went already through it with my razor blade, and it didn't get it. So if you're looking to go that extra mile and really, the dirt just bothers me. It just drives me nuts. So then I'll use my pot scrubber, my $1, pot scrubbers from the dollar store. They work good. Then I'll go in with my hard card with the slip tape. This in particular one is the Pro Tools Now. It's kind of the thicker. I don't know if it has a specific name. I think it does. I just don't know it. But you can see them in the tool catalogs or whatever. And I will take, and now I've gone around the edges with that, with the slip tape. So I've pulled everything out of there that I can. Now I'm just going to squeegee this off with my little turbo squeegee. Works good for cleaning as well as install. And I'm going to roll my window down, and I'm going to do the same here. So now I've got that gasket out of the way. I can do a nice bottom load. I can get that edge clean down below that gasket. I'm not going to be harboring dirt below that gasket. And for me, it just makes the most sense. And same thing here with the window rolled up so I get all the way. Here, I'll show you. Now I went ahead and scrubbed, and I'm just going to show you that the position that I'm going to use, this is a clean scrubby. And I already scrubbed this gasket with alcohol. Look at what I get. So even though I scrubbed with the alcohol, I'm still pulling a good amount of dirt. If you don't do these steps, that dirt is gonna be there, and it's gonna get vacuum sucked under your film. And the front one's pretty clean. It'll get under your film, contaminate your film, and you'll want to just kill yourself. I mean, you'll just be so bummed that you're trying to do a good job and you got this dirt in your way. So I'm going to squeegee off the whole window. I can get 3-4 inches under the gasket, and then again and again I'm going to take my hard card with the slip tape, and I'm going to get into the gasket for like a third or fourth time. Now I should have a clean window and be able to really get a clean install out of that. I got a sticker here, so I don't really keep a razor blade on me. I don't use them a lot. But I recently switched. I had been using this thing, and I had cut myself with this thing. It really does provide for good leverage. But I switched to this kind of old-fashioned one where you can the blades put away and you don't have to worry about cutting yourself. It doesn't work quite as good. You got to hold it a little bit different and get a good edge, and it works though. And you got to do a little bit more scrubbing. With that other unit, I can literally just hit it one pass and get everything because I can put a good amount of pressure on it. But this is a little safer, so you may want to do that too. Alright, so we got that sticker out of the way. And we're going to go through the same exact process. It's really, I've spoken on this before, but your cleaning technique should be repetitive and scientific. You should be doing things that you know exactly what and why you're doing them and how they work. And you should be doing the same exact thing over and over and over and over and over, so that you get the same exact results. I like to use this pot scrubber in a little circular manner. I'll do some close-up shots when I bottom load here. I'll throw that camera on some doors here and show you that. These videos make my car take quite a bit longer. Like, it's about 10 o'clock already, so I already got an hour and a half into this car. Normally I'd be done with the car already. I just rifle through and I'm not jabbering and I'd be done. See, now this time I didn't run that scrubby into the gasket, so I'm going to do that quick. Pulled a bunch of dirt out again. Alright, not the most ideal method. I should have did that already as part of, but I'm blabbering and I forgot to do it. Use my hard card with the slip tape. I'm gonna hit the bottom again here with the side swiper, the traditional one with the handle, and just get a little bit there at the bottom. And then we got these front wing windows. You know, these front wing windows, honestly, in my opinion, are some of the hardest windows out there. I've spoken on this before in other videos. You're not gonna get a real good view of this, but I'm gonna cut out a little bit of the gasket on the backside. And these are difficult enough where a lot of times I forgot to here today because I was talking with you guys, but I'll cut extras for this. Because a lot of times you can't get all the dirt, and the first piece that you install will actually suck up dirt, and I'll get it stuck to that piece of film. Sometimes that first effort to tint that first piece becomes kind of like a sacrificial piece that I know I'm not going to keep. So I'll cut extras. I'm going to squeeze this scrubby into the gasket on these, and didn't really get a lot of dirt. Nothing at all really on that one. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to go around it with my knife just as a precautionary measure. Sometimes, like on Hondas, there's some adhesive, some weird greasy adhesive in the edges of these windows on those cars. So take the blade around the edge a little bit, and then I just squeegee it with the turbo, and she's ready to go. And let's see here. I'm going to switch cameras here. So, same thing here. I'm just going to rifle through these now. I've already explained everything to you guys. We can get to the next portion here. White scrubby pad, pot scrubber. Alright, quick. Cut a little slice of this gasket out. Just about 1/8 of an inch. Give myself a little relief. Throw that in the garbage. Quick, run the blade around inside the gasket. Run the white scrubby around the inside of the gasket. Very minimal amount of dirt in this one. Alright. Minimal amount on that pass. And then I'm going to take my gasket, or my triangle with the slip tape, which really, that slip tape, as everybody knows, I really like. Makes any hard card a squeegee, and you can squeegee moisture and water and not leave one single moisture line. They work excellent. It works excellent. Okay, so that one's done. Same thing here. I'm gonna just scrub, white scrubby, roll up, get the bottom, roll down. Alright, pot scrubber, just some circular passes, just in case there's any adhesive. I feel something right here. Maybe I got it. I'm feeling for resistance. Like if you go over an adhesive spot or something, you'll feel some resistance there. Roll that down. Actually, I'm gonna roll that back up. I'm gonna slide the scrubby pad in the gasket. Nothing on that side. Alright, a little dirt on that pass. Roll it down. Going to hit it with the Ungar squeegee. I can get below the gasket here. What I have left on the side, I'm going to hit with the triangle with the slip tape. I can get below the gasket inside. Done. Done. nice to have the little rolling stools in the shop. Seen recently, I have a Twitter business, or not a Twitter, Instagram business page that I just started. I wasn't doing that for a while and realized the value in that, so I started doing that and properly tagging videos and stuff. That's under my business name, Film Pro. And I'm on Instagram, but I see pictures of guys in there installing, and they're like working on a car, and they don't have stools. And I just like I'm a big believer, like if you're in a position that's not comfortable and you're going to naturally have a tendency to kind of rush so you can get out of that position. It's just I don't understand. If you don't work with a stool, I guess that's your preference, but I like to be sitting and be comfortable and have eye level where I'm looking right straight at what I'm doing, and I don't have to bend over, and I can actually look up if I need to, and I'm comfortable and all that stuff. So I know I'm a weird dude. It's cool though. So we're gonna get this squeegeed up. We're almost ready to start slapping some film in. Just want to go through, make sure we have a clean window ready for installation. Same thing on this particular front here. Just gonna slice out about 1/8 of an inch. Gonna go around the edge with my knife and almost like a razor scraping action. I'm holding the blade at a specific angle so I can scrape off anything that might be in there. Gonna hit it with the white scrubby. I'm gonna pinch that white scrubby inside the gasket, see if I can get anything out of that. It's clean. So we should technically be clean when we install, but these things are so sneaky that it's hard to say if that'll happen. I do what I think is a good job cleaning these little triangles, and then next thing you know, I got a bunch of dirt that I got to deal with. So anything can happen. And if it doesn't come out acceptable, I will cut a new piece right before your eyes, and I will install that new piece. I just don't care. So cool, my water bottle's empty. Gonna grab one here that I already got filled. I know a lot of people like, these bigger bottles. I got a bigger bottle there by my peel board. All right, so I got some clicking happening here. Still got audio? I still got audio. Okay, cool with that. Gonna start installing over here. I mean, there's a couple people still watching, so why don't I pull this camera over here and show some actual installs? Why not? Here, I'll show them from over here. Uh-oh. Still got... hopefully. My cable fell, so I think we're good. Yeah, we're good. Alright, so here, I'll get this close so you can see what's up. Alright, let's just open this door all the way. Let's start with this window here. Let's put some shots together. Here, we're here, we might as well share. So these can be tricky, and I've shared before. And basically what I'm going to try to do is when I'm scrubbing, I'm scrubbing the outer portions of the gasket that I might bump into with this particular piece of film, and then I'll rinse those down. So just in case, if I happen to bump into any of this rubber, hopefully I won't catch anything. But I'm going to try to get this back edge. I'm going to try to, before touching everything else down, I'm going to try to get this back edge tucked, and then I'm going to slowly, and I'm going to bunch as if I'm doing a bottom load on a regular door window, and I'm going to try to weasel this piece in without touching anything on the sides. I'm gonna check my edges, make sure I don't have any light gaps, and then I'm gonna go to work and I'm gonna squeegee. Really straightforward. I'm gonna make some light passes. This particular window does not have any ceramic lettering on the inside. It's on the outside. It's here. And so I can't get the film to bite to it. So I don't want my initial squeegeeing to be with too much pressure because I don't want the film to move. I feel pretty confident with my solution right now. I'm going to get that corner because that was bunching up a little bit. And I'm going to shoot down the edges, just kind of removing what might be there. And so then I'm going to go over this one more time, a little bit more pressure, but still gentle. I'm not looking to get a final squeegee out of this thing just yet. I'm gonna let this sit. I know how these windows behave, and I do not want this thing to move. And it'll move fairly easy. Like if I try to go and dry squeegee on there and do my final squeegee job, that thing's gonna move, and I don't want that right now. So I'm gonna let that be. Let me get positioned here. I'll show some close-ups of some install stuff here. I think on this side I'll show from the outside, which gets a little clouded with the moisture there, but you can see the squeegee pattern's good. On the other side, I'll show it from the inside, what's going on. Same thing here. When I try to bottom load, I really want the angle to be, I want this corner to be pointing down, and I want there to be a heavy angle so that I can comfortably get this top corner into position. I'm going to start slowly turning now, but I'm going to bunch carefully. I'm going to bunch, and I'm going to get this back edge in. And look at how I'm holding this bunch. I'm holding it. It's in a position where it's not going to crease. I got the back part of the film on without any issues. Slide it back a little bit and bunch back here so I can get this front edge intimately in place without touching the rubber or all that stuff. And I'm gonna really kind of shimmy this. It'll want to stick a little bit, but if I just kind of give it a little shimmy in and break it free and kind of keep it moving, you can see how I'm kind of shimmying it around. I'm keeping it moving. I don't want it to stick just yet until I get the right position. I feel good about that. And then again, I'm going to check. I'm going to look for light gaps. I can see my edge there a little bit on that side, down in the front here. So I'm going to reposition. I'm going to shimmy and break it free again, slide it forward a little bit. A little too much, a little back and forth. I got a nice clean edge at the top. I'm going to inspect that again. I got the edge buried, so we're good. And then I'm going to squeegee. I want to make sure that thing's in position, in proper position. Oh, we got a little piece of black something or another right there. That sucks. Yeah, right there. Let me see what I might do here. I'm gonna squeegee the rest of this down. I want to get that moisture away from the sides, so I don't have, even though I did all that cleaning, man, I still don't have any trust for those things. I want to get that moisture away from the edge as fast as possible, because I know what'll happen if that gets an opportunity to vacuum like it's doing right here. It's sucking water up from the bottom, but all that area down there is clean. Now, this little speck, this is gonna roll up into the gasket, and I'm pretty certain I can iron that out with some heat. Yeah, I'm gonna leave that. And I'm gonna iron that out. And so I'm gonna hit this. I'm gonna take another pass at it. I think it's a little piece of adhesive. And a lot of times when I heat that, I can move it and get it out of there. And so I'm not going to chase after, because if I peel it back and try to do surgery, I might end up with 3 or 4 specks and make things worse for myself. And since that's going to roll up in the gasket, You know, I think it's acceptable. So right now I'm just gonna leave it alone. I'll roll it down, heat it up, and iron it out later. Other than that, the everything went really smooth, and it's looking clean. It looks like um, I got a clean install. Aside from that, I'm gonna dry around the edges here. I'm gonna dry the window a little bit. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna run. I've got this what the heck is this one? I always forget what these are called. I forget what this is called. I got slip tape on it. I'm just gonna run and do a few more sort of dry squeegee passes and really get all the moisture out that I can. And I'm just gonna look and check, and it's really dust free. And that's the main goal. Those side gaskets, I like when they come out nice and clean. I don't have to worry about any of that contaminants that are going to be really highly visible. I hate that. It's wet down here, so I'm really going to be careful here. I'm going to back this up. All right, give you a shot there of that. And so the back door's done. I feel really nice about how it turned out. Literally, if it wasn't for that little speck at the top. I mean, I could just sit here and not mention it. I know that you can't see it. But I'm just trying to be as real as possible here. Somebody says hi. I don't know exactly where you're from, brother. I can't read your name even. That's how stupid Americans are. So I love you, man. And hi, how are you? It's good to see you here. Maybe you can give me a pronunciation on your name. I have no idea how to pronounce those letters, man. And forgive me, it's my lack of intelligence as an American only speaking one language that I don't know how to do that. But I'm glad to have you aboard, my friend. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to help in any way that I can. Just feel free to ask in the comments if you'd like. I really prefer, if you really, like I mentioned earlier in the video, I'll mention it again, give a few plugs. If you want to get sort of intimate and have a little bit more, a little bit closer attention to what it is you're doing, join the Facebook group, and you will see there's not any action in there recently, but that doesn't matter, because if there's one person that joins that wants to ask questions and post pictures and say, hey, how should I do this, that's the place that we can communicate at that level. So facebook.com/groups/Tint Academy. Now I had this thing all positioned and it slid on me. I didn't have my squeegee in my hand, but I feel like I'm good there. I'm going to give it a little tack in the center and just check my edges. I want to make sure I don't have any gaps, and I do. This big light gap, or my edge is completely visible over here. So I'm going to make a little effort. And what I'm going to do is bunch it and go back over this spot that I already squeegeed so it moves again. And the same thing, I'm going to have to do it a little bit more. And I'm just getting that piece to move so that I can reposition. I'm watching my edge. I want to make sure I have a good, it's close but not over the edge so it peels. And I'm going to recheck, and that's good. I got it repositioned properly. Now I can squeegee. And I'm just gonna, I'm kind of pressing hard. I know the material and I know my solution, and there's not a lot of guessing, so I know pretty much generally how much I can push. And so I'm giving it a pretty good squeegee job right now. And I'm going to hit these gaskets with the triangle. I think this is a tri-edge. I don't know. Pro Tools now. It's kind of like a harder, thicker, tapered on the edges triangle card that I got that works really well. You can see it here. And try different stuff, man. You know, you don't have to use the same tools I have. I know. You know, I'm realistic, man. I might be using things that are outdated, that somebody else might be using something else that I should be using. I don't know. I'm just doing the best I can. If somebody wants to share something or whatever you're using, I would be interested, because I'm not too proud to realize that there's room for improvement. And I've kind of just been someone who's always willing to adapt. So if you got something out there that works good and you think I should use it, just let me know. Shoot some comments in there. I know I got Tint pros watching this, lurking in the backgrounds there, not saying anything. It'd be cool if you did. I don't know why you would do that. Whatever. Maybe it's just entertaining while you're at work watching another dingaling do his thing, I guess. I don't know. All right. So I really want to be careful. I got my cable down here. I'm going to move my computer closer. I got my cord down here, and I got moisture. I got a puddle like an inch away from my cable, and so I got to be careful with this. It's the most rudimentary thing. I've got this USB. I've got this USB extender that needs to be powered at the end, and so this is the rigged up thing that I have right now, which I want to go wireless, but everything's expensive, so there, you can get a shot of that. So anyways, let's go here. Now what I did was I rinsed. I didn't spray upward. I just kind of rinsed down and get that bottom gasket rinsed out and get this piece, and hopefully we can get this laid down acceptably on the first attempt. Sometimes I gotta cut an extra. These are really finicky windows, but the first thing I'm gonna do is pick that gasket back and get that corner down, almost as if you're bottom loading. I want to get that piece down there so I have some relief toward the top, and I'll bunch it a little bit so I can get the other corner in place. And ultimately I want to get that top edge down without touching the rubber at the top, so I can really carefully weasel my piece into position, and then I'll check. It's literally in the perfect position right now. I've got it good. I do have a little bit of a light gap on the back side, so I'm going to move that just a touch, which caused my upper corner to bump a little bit. So I'm going to open that up and give a little relief there. And you can even squeegee that out a little bit. But I think I'm good. I may have actually created a little bit of a gap at the top. Nope, I'm good. So I'm going to squeegee that down, and I'm going to use my yellow turbo, and gently I'm going to hit this top edge. Of course, I want to get everything I can away from that top edge. Gravity, everything's going to, flow down. So if I have moisture up there that can flow down, it can grab it can grab contaminants and bring them under the film. So I don't want that. So I really just did a really gentle pass all the way around. I don't want to hit that too hard. And if you remember, I left this back little window. I forgot about it, but I probably would have did another pass, and I'm going to go back to it. The same thing with this. I want to give it a couple minutes to get tacked down before I go crazy on it and really push too hard on it, because I don't want it to move. I'm not using any alcohol right now this time of the year because, like I said, it's humid. My film is sticking adequately. My solution is pretty dialed in, and so I'm going to leave that for a second, and I'm going to go to this. I'm going to go to this window again, and I'm not going to move the camera, but I'm going to just hit this back little window. I'm going to do a little sample. And yeah, the moisture's still moving pretty freely. So I'm going to go over this with my hard card with the slip tape and just get that final layer of moisture out of there. Just so it dries nice and smooth. And that's that side. And I'm going to move the camera here. But I feel real confident about that. My efforts to get them gaskets cleaned out were effective, and we basically got, aside from that one speck of dust on the one window, I basically did a really nice, professional, super clean job by just putting some focus on that. Hold on here, I'm trying to get this set up. Putting a little focus on the gaskets with the alcohol and the paper towel. And that's just not any paper towel. It's like one of them Scott's shop towels. If you use a regular paper towel, it'll just break apart really easy and look like little pieces of the paper towel will separate off and end up in the gasket. You don't want that either. So this time I'm just going to kind of show a little bit from the inside here, kind of getting wrapped up, getting towards the end of this car here. Appreciate you guys sticking around. Tint Academy, you can see the website, learnhowtotintcarwindows.com, or the Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/Tint Academy. Those areas here, youtube.com/Tint Academy, I think is the link for there. And so same thing here. Gonna kind of just take my time and do a bottom load style approach to getting this piece in place where I get it down there, which gives me some relief at the top, so I don't want to touch that top edge against anything and have contaminants introduced. I do have my edge exposed a little bit at the top, but I was able to move it from the outside and get it just right. So same thing, guys, same thing. Very gentle pass. My first pass is so gentle, I'm only touching just this very top corner of the squeegee. I'm just really doing this very gentle approach. I don't want the piece to move, so first I want to move the water out of the way as best I can, gentle, but still there's a good layer of moisture under the film, and I just want to be really careful. It's a little crease that happened at the bottom there, but it ain't going to be a big deal. We'll get rid of that. Alright, and then, so I'm going to take this, this is the easy reach, that one I remember, and I'm going to just do a light pass around the outside, and this is a nice one. It's thinner than this green one. This green one is a thicker card. It has more stability, but it's harder to use at this phase of the game. I'll end up moving the film because the thickness of it will put more pressure on the film, and I don't want that right now. Okay, so I'm going to spray my gaskets down, rinse the window down. I'm going to show you this angle again. This angle on the back windows, this angle is really, really important. I really wish somebody would tell me, how do I pronounce that name? Back up in this mug. Jaybird's back up in this mug. He's back. Dude, did you hear I wanted you to give us an update how you were going to approach that back window on that Mustang there. Are you going to leave a gap? Are you going to bump your edge of your film up against the material that is there holding the window in place? What is your plan there? I explained a little earlier what I do. I'm wondering what you do. I don't know if you heard or not, but you could just simply type it in, leave gap or bump it up, or I end up getting a lot of dust and dirt if I try to bump up against that material that's holding the window in, that the convertible top is made out of. So that back window on the Mustang, how do you approach that? That's my question. And I like to compare notes on things like that, what other people are doing. Maybe I'm not doing it right. Maybe I should take some advice from somebody else and do it the way they do it. I don't know. But that's generally how I've done it. I leave a little like 1/8 inch or a 1/16 inch gap, and then usually people are more than happy with that because it's uniform, but I'll offer, if they want to come back at another day after it's dry, I can lay a little black silicone around that and mask off that edge. I'm wondering what you do. Share if you want, if you can. And we're almost done here, guys. I'm just kind of rifling through this now. Just getting her done. Getting her done. Hitting the edges. I don't see any dust and dirt and debris. My cleaning job was worth the effort. I don't know if you missed all that, Jaybird. The whole point of the video was how I handle these particular gaskets, and I go through and I wipe them down with paper towel and a little alcohol with the windows rolled down. So I don't know if you've seen all that, but there's a little piece of the paper towel and a little bug. So get rid of that. Now, the way that these front windows are designed, just the shape of them, you don't really need that immense angle, and you don't really need to bunch them the way you do on the back. It's just the shape of the window that plays a role in that. But these fit into place when you're bottom loading. They fit into place really, really easily. Let's see what he says. I'm holding a piece. He says small gap, lots of black Sharpie. He says he's just kidding though. I remember that stuff back in the day. Actually, a paint marker. Once in a great while, I'll end up with a little light gap. I'll still use a little paint marker. It's actually automotive black paint that I use. But rarely, once in a great while. But I remember back in the days when you're learning, and I'll tell a funny story. Actually, when I was training at this tint shop, the guy who was training me used to make fun of me. He would catch me, and I would put the tint stickers for the business that the place was named. They had these little round stickers. And I would put those over imperfections. And he would come and check my work, and he'd be like, dude, what the hell is this? Why do you have this sticker on the side in the middle of the window? And then he would take it off and see there was like some dirt or something there. And so he used to tease me about that. I was just an 18-year-old kid, trying to get things done, and I was learning. But yeah, I was doing that kind of thing, hiding my little imperfections with little round stickers at T&T Glass Tinting. Tim from T&T Glass Tinting, man. That's where I got my start. I don't know if I think I told this story on here before, but I got a car tinted there, watched a guy do it, bought some film, fiddled around with some friends' cars, and then I seen that he had an ad in the paper for a tinter, and I went there to apply, and he only wanted somebody with experience, so I said, I'll work here for free until you think I'm worth hiring. And I quit a journeyman apprentice job, like I mentioned earlier, and went to work for this guy, and everybody thought I was out of my mind. And here I am 27 years later. So it was a little crazy, but I'm a little bit of a crazy dude. And so if you want something bad enough, you got to be willing to go for it. And that's kind of a little bit of an example of the kind of a risk taker that I am. So we got this last window, man. I don't know. Everything's went smooth up until here, so this is probably the window that can go south on me. Typically, the last window, there's like some sort of weird thing about the last window on a car. And if I was superstitious or whatever, I would just not mention it. But yeah, it's there. It's like a weird phenomena. The last window on a car is the one that has a tendency to have some kind of issue. And so that is actually the reason why I do the driver's side first and the passenger side last. Because if I end up with, a speck of dust or something that is not a real, big deal, and I've decided I'm not really going to chase after that, I'll just iron it out and leave it. At least it's on the passenger side where the driver's not looking at it all the time and is less likely to be a problem. So I always, always, always do the driver's windows first and end my job on the passenger side. And because the last window is the one that has a tendency to be a problem. But not this one today, I don't think. It's a little premature. I don't want to get too excited here. But I think we are good. I think we're good, man. I'm going to let this dry for a minute. I'm going to hit this back window again and just do like a dry squeegee on it, because now it's stuck down good. And it's 10:36, so I got 2 hours into this car with running my mouth, talking to you guys and showing a few things. It's cool. I have off tomorrow. I'm going out of town, going to an assembly in Illinois. Watch a band play. It's kind of like a church environment, really, is the best way to explain it to you. But it's not a church. So yeah, today's the last day, and I haven't done a video in a while, and I got new subscribers and people asking questions, and I was like, man, I gotta give a little something to the brotherhood here, the Tint brotherhood. So now I'm just gonna run this back, just leave a wider shot here as I finalize and finish everything up, guys. I am going to put this into position. So now we've got just a good shot from the corner there. What do we got here? Jaybird says, thanks for the tips. I appreciate it, brother. And he says, I use black nail polish. That can work. I did the same thing, work for free for the local diner, and then he moved out of town, and I snagged the whole town. Okay, so it says, you must be talking about tinner there. It says dinner. I don't know. Yeah, I would assume it's tinter, not dinner. It's because your hands are dirty at the end of the job, just getting, I'm not sure what that is, if you want to elaborate on that there at the end. But yeah, that's cool, man. Me and Jaybird, we got a lot of stuff in common. Me and that brother, he's got 20-some years in. I got 20-some years in. Just a whole bunch of commonalities, things in common. Yeah. So I'm just going to spray this down. What I like to do is, I've already cleaned this window. I know it's clean, and I've explained this before in other videos, but it gives me an opportunity to really give it a once-over and look and see what I got. What am I dealing with here? What am I looking at? Do I have like little bubbles or little area where a little dust might be showing where I need to finish that up? And if not, I move to the inside and I polish the inside, and that's the same thing. I might see something in here that I need to deal with, and just simply cleaning the window, it can't be a bad thing, and it also gives me another opportunity for inspection. And now the wire for the third brake light fell through into the trunk. So I gotta open the trunk. Where's the trunk? Here. Alright, so I gotta open the trunk, feed the wire back up in there so I can put the brake light back in place. Common thing on these Subarus. There's nothing really holding that thing in place. So then it's just a matter of plugging her in. Try to remember exactly how the clip goes into place and reposition it just right. That's in place. Headrest, boom, boom, boom. Get that out of the way. Everything is like, systematic. How did we do this? Put it back the same way. Now I'm not going to polish the outsides, and I'm not going to move the camera around anymore. I'm just going to throw these door panels on quick, and then I'm going to polish and finish up. Close the doors up, snap these door panels in place. You can count the time, but literally I should have these door panels back in place within 5 minutes. I do have the little clip on the front. I'm gonna shut the key off so my battery doesn't go dead. I gotta reposition a clip, so I gotta screw in these front ones. That's right. So I'm just gonna leave that screw on the drill so it's ready. I'm gonna take my little clip pop tool, get this clip out of the door, and it broke, so I got an extra spare to put in there. Toss that one out, grab the spare, throw the spare in, and we got two more. Two more. So what ends up happening is you end up putting and ends up where you have extra clips, and so this is just taking an extra second, but you want to build up a little arsenal of extra clips. And I do that actually by once in a while one will fall out, and I'll just keep it, because a door panel with 20 clips in there, it'll go back in place just as good with 19 clips. So I'll keep one, and then I'll have an arsenal later on of clips that in case one breaks in a specific, like in a corner, for instance. Yeah. If I break a clip in a corner, that's an area that you really want to put a nice clip back in there, because the door panel won't want to hold the same way without a clip in the corner sometimes. So, but I mean, listen, in 10 minutes, I've manipulated these door panels. I've spent an extra 10 minutes on that, and I promise you use one of those bottom loading tools where you're propping the gasket back, and I've done it, and you get a tight gasket and the film bunches and you crease by accident, and now you got to cut a new piece of film and go at it again. That 10 minutes is so worth it on one of these vehicles, man. I can't stress it enough. I had 2 clips come out on this one. I'm putting those back in place, and we'll get this door panel. These Subaru panels, I mean, it's like butter. They just go into place so easy. It's ridiculous. Alright, so we got that. Snap the little cover back down. And that's it. I'm going to clean and do a little polishing. Just going to do a once over here quick to remove fingerprints and whatnot. Hit the outside with a little foam. I got a nice clean towel. I used the two towel system I've mentioned before. I got a dirty towel for when I clean the windows when the car comes in. And then I got a clean towel that I use to polish and clean the windows after they're done. Alright? And I keep one side wet and one side dry. Wet side I'll use to just kind of remove fingerprints, smudges, and whatnot. And I want to make sure I keep that side, the wet side. The dry side, I just flip it over and just use that for the final sort of polishing effort. And it's a good system, works really well. I've been using that for, I don't know, 20 years. Alright, that side's done. And I can't show you guys because you can't see and the camera's not going to share as well. But these windows came out really good. I had that one little speck over there on that side, and I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna pull this out and inspect, and then I'll heat that up outside and just iron that out. Typically, I like to do a little inspection in the daylight because you obviously, like this window, I just realized there's a little bunched up area in the corner of this one here, so I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna have to put the ignition back on and just hit that real quick. It's just like a little bit of moisture. Now the other thing too is since I bottom loaded and took them gaskets out of the way, I can virtually just roll the windows down right away. There's no moisture in the way, so the bottom edge of the film had a proper chance to dry, and I've never ever crinkled or bunched the film at the bottom, rolling the window down immediately. And when you're doing cars off the lot, I don't know, somebody might test drive this car in 20 minutes, and if they roll the window down, it's better for me. So that's it, guys. That's it, my brother. So checking the audio. I'm gonna switch cameras here. Cool. Jaybird says, where do you get your extra clips? You can buy them on eBay. I've bought some. Andrew says, good morning. Good morning to you, sir. Thank you for coming by. Hope you were able to get some value out of the video. My upper lip is sweaty and I got a cold sore here. So I look like a total freak, or at least I think so in the camera. But whatever. Yeah, I'm not sure what you meant, Jaybird, about that hands dirty thing. I must have been talking about something that I'm not connecting that with. But yeah, you can shop for clips online. You can order them. You got to make sure though. You got to be careful to. What I've done in the past is I've done a search, Google search for specific, like say, Toyota Camry door clips. And then go to the image search and look, and then go from the image that matches the one that you're looking for to the website and try to get the part number. And then once you have the part number, you can go to eBay or Amazon and you can order the proper part number. And I've done that before, and I've done it wrong, and I've gotten the wrong clips before too. So, but usually, like I mentioned before, you know, if I'm in a hurry working on cars from the lot, which a lot of you guys aren't doing, but if I have a clip fall out, I just keep it. And now I have an assortment of, I would say, I don't know, maybe 100 extra clips that I'm able to use what I need. So guys, appreciate you coming by. I gotta get to work now and get some real work done. I spent way too much time on this car. I love you. I thank you for stopping by. And if you got questions, I prefer that you go to the group page if you want to get, you know, deep and get to know each other and ask questions and get real help. You can do that there, facebook.com/groups/Tint Academy. I'll try to put a link later in the video later, so check back later when I actually rename this video and try to put links in there to that stuff. But appreciate your time and appreciate you guys stopping by, hanging out. Jaybird, good to see you again. May Yah bless you and your family. And we will talk to you guys here soon. Just to reiterate, learnhowtotintcarwindows.com for the website, facebook.com/groups/Tint Academy for the groups page. And I appreciate your time, and we will see you guys in the next sort of video where I babble for 2.5 hours. All right.